Hi, I've just finished Olga I always get it wrong. Tokarczuk's new one, the Empusium. It comes out on the 26th of September, and it is a really good read. It's oh, it's. I was excited to read it. After reading, I've read Drive Your Plough, which is sort of like a murder mystery thing, but this is very different. Some people have said that you need to read Thomas Mann's The Magic Mountain because she uses the ideas in that, and apparently there are lots of little hidden Easter eggs. I haven't read it, so I can't say yes or no. And I didn't feel that I was missing out because I hadn't read it. I got everything I needed from reading blind, so to speak, if you see what I mean. But I don't know. I mean, if you've read that and are now reading this, you have to let me know what I've missed, if I've missed anything. We're in 1913, and Wojciech, Polish names, I'm going to struggle. Wojciech, I think is how you say it, has been sent to a sanatorium in Silesia to cure his tuberculosis. It's one of they used to send people off to sort of these country areas because they thought the clean air would help clean the lungs. He can't stay at the sanatorium itself, so he's staying at a guest house for gentlemen with other people who are visiting the sanatorium daily for treatments and whatever. And life is a matter of eating, having treatments, taking long walks in the countryside, in the woods, in the forests, taking long walks. And when they're eating, they have lots of discussions. These men sit around the table and have discussions about politics and world affairs, and the favourite topic is the inferiority of women, how they are inferior to men in every single way. This might sound very dull and it's very misogynistic, but when you get to the author's notes at the end, every idea that these residents talk about, everything they put forward, they've all come from famous thinkers and authors going back. So all of these ideas that these gentlemen are espousing are all ideas going from way back. They're all sort of, she's almost poking fun at the fact that these ideas are being regurgitated and regurgitated and regurgitated and regurgitated. As well as in these conversations, you get to know the other characters, the other men living at the guest house. But I mean, for me, Wojciech, you just want to mother him. He's this young man, and you just want to mother him. There's something about him there's almost a vulnerability about him. However, throughout this, there's a sense that something isn't quite right. The wife of the owner of the guest house commits suicide. Wojciech hears noises at night. And the men, with their meal and when they're chatting away, they are drinking this mushroom-based liqueur that eases their mind, to put it in one way. It's the power of mushrooms. Say no more. And add to this, there's an occasional voice that comes into the novel. This we that is watching and observing. You don't know who this we is. And then you've got the graveyard, which, as well as being full of people who've died at the sanatorium with tuberculosis, which is what they're going to do, there is a set of gravestones going back years where a man has died the same time in November every year. Every year there seems to be someone who's died the same time in November. And the story is that this person's body was found ripped apart in the woods. He wasn't just a natural death, he was ripped apart. So you've got that sort of legend going on about November and people being ripped apart in the woods, and we are coming up to that time again in November. And so you've got this sense of unease and this sense of growing horror. And the female seems to be largely absent in this novel. But you've got the sense of the female around. You've got sort of you've got all these references to the inferiority of women. You've got sort of the idea of the feminine not being there, but then you've got the idea of in the woods, the charcoal burners who live in the woods, they have created these female figures out of moss and whatever as ways of relieving themselves, to put it nicely. So you've got this sense of horror going, this sense of growing unease, and the last 10 to 15%, at that stage of the horror, pops out of its box. It's a super, it's a really, really good read. I mean, some of the discussions when the men are just talking, they can just seem to go on a bit, but you've got this sense of growing horror the whole time. And Wojciech, you just want to hug him. So I mean that last 10-15%, first class. So it comes out on the 26th of September. The Empusium. Just a tip: don't Google Empusium until after you've read it, because I think if you know what the title means, it will blur it a little bit. It was a term I hadn't come across. It's a term I hadn't come across, so I googled it afterwards, and it all made sense then. So don't, if you can resist the temptation, don't do it. So yes, The Empusium, really good read. So happy reading. Take care.